Welcome to Innovate Now. I'm pleased to welcome Suresh to our Kagool studio here in the Birmingham office. And today we're going to cover off complex SAP supply chain transformations and key customer challenges, as well as also exploring Kagool's expertise, some integration anecdotes, and then also the much needed thought leadership on the topic of supply chain transformation programs. So for those who missed the first episode, Suresh, can you please just share a bit more about yourself?
Hi Kevin, thanks for having me here. A bit of background, I'm heading enterprise solutions at Kagool. I'm associated with supply chain and warehouse management for the last 30 years. Thank you.
Great. So thanks Suresh. So you're probably wondering why we needed to do this session and what's the purpose behind it. So just imagine your supply chain solution and its much needed priority around built-in flexibility, future-proofed enough to adapt to market demands. Surely that's just a case of internal and external stakeholders collaborating, correct? If only. So Suresh, in the last episode you shared a bit more about, which I quite like, around the types of supply chains. And obviously the audience out there can associate with one of those three categories, being product-led, customer-led and service-led. Could you just share a bit more about Kagool's position on this and a bit more about your take?
Yeah, so for those three categories, if I take the product-led, which is predominantly for manufacturing customers, where we deal with the warehouse management, supply chain operations for manufacturing-based supply. For example, discrete manufacturing or continuous production of automotive customers, where supply of parts to the line side assembly plays an important role. It again depends on the complexity of your material flow. For example, kit parts, sequence parts, small parts, large parts, depends on size and scale of part and the supply side, line side, what is the point of fit, what is the space available. These are the constraints will play important role in defining and designing the material flow and supply chain and warehouse management solution for manufacturing industry. Yeah. So it's more focus on what kind of product configurations, what kind of product you are manufacturing. That will drive your part supply, depends on the size and scale. Sometimes you have a manufacturing of a product which has got 500 parts, sometimes 5,000 parts. So that dynamics will play a role in defining and designing the warehouse management solution for complex warehouses. Yeah. In case of customer-led, it is more, for example, take the example of retail industry, apparel industry, or kind of e-commerce industry. Yeah. So where on-time delivery of parts, high volume operations, if for example, if that warehouse is to support the regional distribution center or global distribution center, the size and scale of operations will drive the warehouse complexity, internal routing, and sometimes you will have automated systems, warehouse ASRS systems, AGVs, pick by voice, pick to light, this kind of different automation play a role in making sure that you are going to run your warehouse efficiently, because some of the large warehouses we have come across where about 500 to 600 people operate in that warehouse. If you achieve even 10% efficiency, that means they are directly saving 60 people headcount. So efficiency, on-time delivery, high-speed operations, that play important role in case of customer-led large-scale warehouses. Service-led, again, we talk about different sectors. If I talk about MRO part sector, where either you supply parts directly to the end customers or you leverage some of the express courier partners who are integrating with your supply chain and warehouse management system to support the fulfillment of parts supply to those customers and end points. If it is a utility, then again the different dynamics comes into play about how you are getting the supply chain traceability, supply chain visibility of parts availability to field service team, be it engineer or engineer's van stock. How do you enable the supply chain process connected to engineer van stocks. How do you make sure that the transaction between your warehouse and stock depots in the network of your supply chain and engineer van stocks are synchronized, so that overall supply chain visibility and traceability is maintained while you are efficiently operating your supply chain process and warehouse management process. Yeah.
Yes, and that's what I found quite interesting about the last session is there's not too many partners out there that can do the end-to-end supply chain, which I think is really valuable. You know, from a plant position to a warehouse position to an asset management position, we've got experience and covered all of that.
Fortunately, we have the opportunity to serve the customers in all the three segments. A lot of manufacturing customers, a lot of retail and e-commerce customers, and utility and MRO parts supply. So we have covered wide range of scenarios for these customer base in these segments.
Great. So Suresh, so those supply chain led firms tend to have similar challenges, which we can go into. Obviously, the first primary challenge is how does an SAP customer out there navigate such partner selections, challenges to ensure the success of the overall program?
We have actually come across two scenarios. Scenario one where before bidding for a large-scale S4 transformation program, we see a lot of cases where large GSIs and niche players come together, bid together for end-to-end program which comprises of the S4 supply chain transformation. And there are cases where suppliers have awarded the overall program to GSI, but they felt the need for having a specialist player for doing the supply chain and warehouse management transformation program. So they want to achieve the best of both. They want to have the GSI to give the overall cover for the end-to-end program, and small players like Kagool will do the supply chain part and warehouse management part integration. So that best of both approach has been adopted by many customers globally, and we have been serving a lot of large customers in that model.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and it's almost a market trend, if you could say that.
Yeah.
Yes, correct. So from an SAP customer's position, there's clearly a gap that they have to address. And from a module-specific expertise within the large-scale transformations, can you share a bit more about that?
Yeah, so the focus is on the supply chain management. I'll focus the SAP functional areas in and around supply chain. Within the supply chain transformation space for digital supply chain program, it is more predominantly about your upstream process, your procurement process, downstream process, sales, and supported by your warehouse management fulfillment. So predominantly it is more about your procure to pay, order to cash, how they are integrated well to your supply chain process and enabled by your fulfillment process through the warehouse management solution. So these are the common themes where we have been serving the customers as part of the SAP digital supply chain program.
Great. Could you possibly share some sort of experience and some successes when we've partnered with GSIs?
Yeah, we have delivered large-scale programs together with GSIs. Recent success story is for a large customer in Middle East, where it's part of their apparel business. There is a large-scale transformation program to implement entire SAP S4 program. As part of that, Kagool was part of the program where we delivered integration and embedded analytics and warehouse management solutions as part of the S4 program. And it was a very large program covering around 12 countries and about 150 retail stores and virtual stores. So it's a large program, and it has been quite successful with the combination of GSI and Kagool being part of the supply chain implementation partner for that program.
So SAP integration is a huge topic. It's often complex and has significant competencies when it comes to supply chain transformation projects. Suresh, how do SAP customers address the complexities and ensure seamless connectivities with SAP systems and non-SAP systems?
Yeah, so SAP large transformation program, integration, I try to put into two buckets. One is technology complexity and supplier complexity. So in the technology complexity, where it depends on the size and scale of the customer landscape. Take the example of recent success story where we supported a lifestyle customer where they have around 120 integrations, about 45 systems. It's a very large complex program where integration played an important role in making sure that every process is well orchestrated end to end, so that it is providing the required degree of automation and optimization, and making sure that your end-to-end process is seamlessly integrated. Yeah. From technology perspective, it is a complex, but what people don't see is the supplier side of it. For example, in this program, there is one of the challenge customer faced about ensuring that the third-party suppliers who has been integrated to the legacy system before SAP for 20-30 years, have they made sure that the contracts are in place to make sure that these third-party vendors are going to support the S4 program based on the program timelines. One is their availability to support the program to migrate from legacy to S4. Second and most important thing is their readiness to support any changes and enhancement based on the new technology landscape, and part of the transformation, if you are bringing changes to the business process, how are you going to make sure that those suppliers and subsystem owners are supporting this transformation? So it has to be ensured that they have contracts in place to support any system level changes and availability of those providers to support your system integration, testing, user acceptance and deployment and cutover. So both technology side and commercial side of the making sure that those third-party system vendors are part of this program delivery. So that made a significant impact, and that's a big learning for the customer for the future programs.
Right, so given potential customers need to align all this to their strategies, how can they think to future-proof their supply chain solutions whilst aligning with these common KPIs?
Sure. Overall, if I have to summarize the different themes, there are three main areas customers are looking. One is strategic alignment to their roadmap, scalability and growth, and operational efficiency. Yeah. So from strategic alignment with respect to SAP S4 program as well as the digital supply chain program, a lot of customers, being in manufacturing, retail and other sectors, they started insourcing the warehouse management and logistic execution systems, where they continue to outsource the physical activity, but system they are insourcing as part of their SAP landscape. So that is driving the lot of supply chain programs where warehouse management solutions are like SAP WM implementation is done in the customer's landscape, but outsourcing the 3PL activity, physical activity to the 3PL partners. So that's where aligning to the 3PL strategic roadmap. Yeah. Second category is more around the scalability and growth. As part of retail program, which I previously mentioned, we have come across where customers depends on the country of operations, region of operations. They want to onboard different 3PL partners, different LMD partners into their ecosystem. That means your SAP S4 program should have the capability to support the scalability of onboarding number of 3PL LMD partners, able to integrate them to your supply chain ecosystem so that you will be able to support the growth of the business and operations. Third and most important category is whatever the size and scale of activity in any of the country, you want to achieve the high operational efficiency. If I take an example of one of our large scale supply chain and warehouse management program in UK, where they have been operating in a manual entry mode into the system for warehouse management activities, talking about 4 million entries into the system, where things can go wrong because of error in manual input, and activities in the warehouse are paper based. Everything is printing the form, printing the documents to print, where there is a lot of dependency on the people. So when we implemented supply chain management and warehouse management solution for that customer, they completely removed the paper based, completely system based, where barcode scanning, label printing, mobile printing. So it is completely eliminated the dependency on the individual's experience, because everything is driven by the system. So in any sector, especially in the logistics sector, you have the people rotation very frequent. So if you have a system driven solution, you have the opportunity to onboard new members into the warehouse or supply chain and quickly put them into job, because it is more intuitive. So you don't have to give too much of training, because this kind of solutions and process we deliver to that customers, they are simple to use and supporting quick onboarding of new staff. So that way you are achieving both operational efficiency as well as quick onboarding of new team, because everything is controlled by system driven solution. Yeah. So these are the key KPIs customers are benefiting from supply chain programs.
Great, so that's a bit of the experience that we have and the innovations and the tangible results we can bring to yourself. Great, so as part of this session, we've clearly explained, and Suresh has outlined and shared our experiences, how we've helped clients innovate and achieve tangible results. So there's three key takeaways of this session is we can help, Kagool can help, reduce complexities, introduce best of both, which is working with GSIs, and then reduce the levels of risk associated with your program. So thanks for joining us at Kagool Studios for another episode of Innovate Now. Please like and share, follow and learn, comment with questions, and connect together. So for us here at the Kagool Studio, it's goodbye.